Hello, my friends at SeemsGoodMagic.com. This is Travis Simulant Sowers, and I want another shot at this cube. I feel like we could have done better. We could have done better in the last one. I want to let that go and move along and have a good cube, because we've had some good ones on stream, and I was just kind of like, meh. That was not what I wanted. So this pack has some really interesting cards in it. Strip Mine is kind of busted no matter what you're doing. And Raphaelos is easily just a stupid card. A stupid card. If this was not a powered cube, I'd be really looking at that Consecrated Sphinx. It is still one of the best 6-drops, but there's just plenty of 6-drops to win a game with if you're going with that. Like, I like taking lands. I could even see an argument for taking the Trop or the Wooded Foothills here, but I think it really comes down to Raphaelos versus Strip Mine. Like, Strip Mine leads to more unfun games of Magic and sets you up to be in some sort of aggressive deck. And Raphaelos is just like the ultimate ramp card, passing no green. I don't know, I feel like Raphaelos is as close to power as I can get here. Yeah, I'm going to take Raphaelos. I like Strip Mine a lot, and I could easily see that being the pick, but I mean, the downside of taking Raphaelos is if we get past a pack like this, we're kind of like, meh. I don't really want any of these cards. It's like Wall of Blossoms doesn't really go in a ramp deck. You kind of don't want Mishra's Factory in a deck with Raphaelos. You have to play as many forests as you can. So we can kind of look at what's the best card here. Since we kind of don't know what we're doing yet, we have a little hedge into ramp. We don't have to be ramp. Look at how happy he looks. It's like, yeah, I'm broken. I'm just going to take the Bloodstained Mire. It could let us splash a color. It would need to be probably red, probably black, because that's what it gets. But with the dual, that could be helpful. And there's just nothing that's like so powerful I have to consider it. I'd really like to see like a good green card. You know, like Natural Order, Freyleys. I actually like Freyleys a lot. Like, artifacts are a big deal in this cube, and she just comes down and pirates them, and then making a bunch of little Elfies is kind of neat too. But starting with Natural Order means we can kind of pick up mana elves, which we're probably already interested in, and then any of our big ramp targets, we just kind of get a way to cheat them out. And it needs to be good enough to win the game, so we're looking for stuff like Woodfall Primus, etc. here. But yeah, see? I'm happy starting here. So there's kind of two conversation pieces here. I mean, Trigon Predator is a consideration. Birds of Paradise is certainly really good in that plus this land could enable us to splash, I don't know, Xenagos if we wanted it. Like, this is one of the better elves, and we're interested in it for Natural Order. The only consideration for not taking Avenger is you usually don't want to Natural Order into it. You're not really breaking it there. You kind of want to ramp into it. That said, I'm still going to take it. But I could certainly see the argument of taking the elf first. Right now, here, we've got Survival, which is interesting, Naturalist, which is interesting, and Bloodbraid Elf, which is kind of get a dude, you know, play another ramp spell, which is certainly not bad. I like the Naturalist a lot, because there's usually artifacts and enchantments you want to blow up. I'll just take those. I really need to prioritize elves now. Elves. Well. We've got Ancient Tomb, which is a very powerful card, Selesnya Signet, which is a very powerful card, and GSZ, which is a very powerful card. And I feel like because I have the Natural Order, I might want to hedge towards the Green Sun Zenith. Like, at this point, we're starting to get multiple ways to fish out a big monster, and all I need is like 3 Llanowar Elves, and this deck is in position to really do something. The Ancient Tomb could do something, but again, there's a pretty high cost of playing non-forest in a deck with Raphaelos, and I think same with Selesnya Signet. Like, if I'm going to use ramp, I probably want it to be creatures if we're Natural Ordering. So I'm going to take a GSZ and consider this kind of an extra 1-drop. So Reclamation Sage would be quite nice as well. Like, we can just beat up on everybody's artifacts. I don't know that we're going to be able to be an Emrakul deck. Like a Eureka we could do. We really want our big stuff to be Natural Orderable. and green. You know? I'm going to take the Rex Sage. I'm pretty happy being mono green here. This is one of the few swords that I'll actually play. I like it in a deck with elves. Tooth and Nail can obviously be quite good too, but I feel like with Natural Order, my other big expensive spell should be a green one. And now, we did pass an Atarka, and it could have been that Atarka. I'm just kind of now realizing that. We're not quite a ramp deck yet, but I'm going to take every elf I see in the next few packs. And this is the one sword empowered cube that I do want to play. We could take the Palinchron in case the Heartbeat wheels and we want to do some infinite mana things. I don't think that's super likely, but it could happen. Recruiter of the Guard's quite good in combo shenanigans, but I think I'm just going to take the Wealth. It doesn't look like that's going to happen, but I suppose it could. Again, I can't really play non-forests. Unless we get like a bomb in another color. I mean, maybe I see an opposition and decide to go in that and want the wall. Yeah, somebody else has taken my elves, so we gotta prioritize those. I've seen exactly one. That means we should see a lot of them on the next way by. This Trigon Predator is a real card. If we can, we've got like the perfect artifact hate deck with Naturalists, Freyleys, Reclamation Sage, and Predator. It ain't in there yet, but it may be. I'd rather have a Fauna Shaman usually than this, but we might do that if we get like a hoof. Sure. I don't think we can play it, but sure. That imp's a little putrid, I would have to say. So basically all we want here is Llanowar Elf, Elvish Mystic, etc. There are plenty. I would take a Boreal Druid, which I don't think is in the deck. Yeah. After this, I'll take every elf I see. We should be getting past elves this pack. Elves. Yeah, because like Craterhoof is just kind of the thing. It's not always like, it's not as backbreaking as like a turn 3 Woodfall Primus can be, but it is just a solid way to win a game after you've gotten some dudes out. After I passed Emmy. Yeah, sure. Sure, man, sure. I mean, it's the most busted card. If things come together in the way that I want them to, Gaia's Cradle would be the best card for us. But it does require seeing like 3 elves in a row. Treachery is one of the better cards that exists. But I'm going to get some flack for this, I imagine. Like, if I'd taken that Emrakul, or we're a little earlier in, I'm taking Channel, but I don't want like 5 colorless ramp targets. I want elves. And if I get them and this comes together, Gaia's Cradle is going to be just a masterpiece in this deck. And if I don't, meh. Good Lord. Well, there's an opposition. Search for Tomorrow is ramp and fixing. Balance is a powerful card. Ulamog going to the dude or dudette we passed Channel to. Like, this is kind of hard to get in there currently. And I've got 5 creatures. I'm not getting my elves. I'm a sucker for opposition. Those of you who've watched the stream enough know that this is just what I do. But here, I've been talking about Woodfall Primus the whole time, and I really want one. But if I'm not taking this Llanowar Elf, we're being irresponsible drafters. I'm going to keep an eye out for like blue mana fixing, and if I can make this happen, believe me, I want these guys in here. But if we can't, that's all right. That's all right. Garrick will ramp you. Oracle of Moldiah is just very, very good. It's such value. It's also a creature, which plays better with the Cradle, but I mean, Garrick can fart you out some beast tokens. Blah, 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 blah. This is actually a really tough pick for me between which of these two that I want. I think Garrick edges this out a little bit, mainly because of the cradle. Even though the Oracle would help me find it, Garrick just plays so well with it. A Deranged Hermit likes to be in a deck with Gaia's Cradle too, and in a deck with opposition, honestly. I'm not 100% certain we can do that. And again, I need like 3 more elves. Let's not forget we are not yet there. We are not yet there. If these are blue fixtures, we're talking, but they're not. Although, honestly, the Overgrown Tomb could be, because it turns the mire into can fetch green, and if I get like a red-blue land or a black-blue land, then all of a sudden the mire could fix that. I guess. Arbor Elf, what's up, buddy? You are just in time, and we're going to be playing some forests. Don't you worry. The Overgrown Tomb also being a forest is nice. If we end up using it, Elves Spun. Okay. Never mind. We're picking all the right cards. I mean, at this point, I think we still take it. I guess we ended up in the right archetype. None of these cards really matter for us. Oh, it feels so good. Sure. Okie dokie. We are now in a happy place. We're in a happy place. With happy little squirrels. And happy little tree folk shamans. We've got our eye patch. And our tinfoil hat. That's a tinfoil hat, isn't it? It's exactly what it looks like. You're not gonna read my mind, Liliana. I made my hat of tinfoil +1. I kind of see why they don't do Garrick so much anymore. He just wants to hit things, which I can appreciate that that's an aspect of green, but come on, man. I still don't know about splashing an opposition in a green deck. I've certainly done that plenty of times. That doesn't make it a good idea or right, but I have certainly done it. All right. Still no power. You can argue that Gaia's Cradle is power. I probably will argue that Gaia's Cradle is power. I could see Nykthos going in this deck. There is legitimately, again, I've said this a million times, but there's a cost to playing lands that are not for us. We've already got a land that could potentially make us mulligan. You know, like, you can't keep a 1-lander with this and 3 elves. It doesn't do anything. I think I'm going to take the Courser and see if the Nykthos wheels. If it does, we play it. If it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. Like, honestly, forests get me almost as much mana as the Nykthos. It's a relatively low cost, but this is just going to be fine. It can carry a sword. It can ramp us with the Cradle. Already passed on the Oracle, which I would have liked. So having access to this, I think, is going to be a good thing. We can splash a Mind Twist with our Overgrown Tomb and a Fetch Source and Elves of Deep Shadow, which is pretty reasonable. I mean, just gives us another big thing to do. And it's a very powerful effect. The Gear Hulk is fine too. Like, turning a bunch of elves into threatening creatures is not irrelevant. And we need to make sure we have enough creatures to turn the Cradle on. I guess we can just not play the Cradle, but like, we've already got enough sources to just play this. I'd need one more fetchable land to go with the Bloodstained Mire to feel really comfortable about it, because I don't want to have a Bloodstained Mire and nothing that it can fetch, but it seems pretty likely that Mind Twist can get in this deck, and it's just stupid powerful. And like, I'm passing up on a Gear Hulk. I think I can be okay with that. We're pretty far away from wanting to Mindslaver or Academy. There's just not any other picks for us. I like Turn to Log a good bit. Zealous Conscripts is very powerful, but I think I'm just going to take the Eternal Witness. Eureka, if we'd taken the Emrakul, like, we've got Channel, we could still look at doing things like that. this card is very all in. And like Empowered Cube, especially in League, like Eureka out at Emrakul, they may have one too. I'm just going to go Eternal Witness value here. You may think I'm crazy for really considering this Mana Gorger Hydra. And that doesn't mean I'm not. There's also things to consider, like we've got a channel. We could take a Sundering Titan. It's almost as good to ramp into as some of these. Although I don't have that much ramp. I really need to be picking... Yeah, we could take the Sundering Titan and play the channel. Because like I could still do something with extra colorless mana, just not much. The deck's so green focused. Like it's kind of putting a 2-card combo in the deck, but if it's not that, it's the Mana Gorger Hydra, and that's just okay. It's not great, it's okay. I could also take Kozilek. Nah. It's relatively close on these two. I don't know if this gets in there, but it might. Whoever was eating our elves before is eating them again, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I gotta jam a lot of islands in the deck if I want to play that opposition, and I don't think that I do. I think I can probably play the Mind Twist. I'd really like one more fetchable forest. I guess I'm looking for a Bayou. Like, I could get this for it to fetch. It just doesn't do anything. I'm better off just playing an extra swamp. Oh, this pack sucks. I want good stuff, and it's not here. I'll take the Lumbering Falls. There's a Fauna Shaman. I said a couple times I'd play a Fauna Shaman and be happy with it. There's also a Tinker. What the heck, man? Why? Why? Like, if I'd taken the Titan... Nah, there's not a... This deck doesn't want Tinker. It probably does want a Fauna Shaman, though. I like Fauna Shaman a lot. The Marsh Flats can get our Black Splash, too, but we're a little short playables here. A little bit. I have played Winter Orbs in Elf decks and been relatively happy with it. Traverse would make the Black Splash a little easier, but I'm not sold on that. I'm not 100% on the Winter Orb either, but I'd say it's likely. Skull Clamp is a nice backup plan with my elves. I still don't quite have enough. I said I'd be happy with 3, and I got exactly 3. I really wanted 5, if we're going to be honest here. I never want to play Beast Within, and I do think I can play the Nykthos, even if it's not going to be amazing. Yeah, Gearhulk's fine. We ended up short like 3 elves from a really good deck. That said, I'm happy with where we got. We got the Hydra anyway. I don't need any more high-end. And I don't think I'm going to try to jam an opposition in here. I think I am going to try to fit the Mind Twist in. That seems a little free-ish. Like, play 1 swamp in the deck, and I can kind of just put it in. I don't like Birthing Pod. I don't think that's a real card. Just looking maybe at something like this. Like, we've got the opportunity to generate a lot of mana. And I could also look at Winter Orb. Maybe we're not too far from playing that. We're kind of too far from playing that. I'd need things like, a Noble Hierarch or 2. I could probably talk myself into some dumb stuff if we had the Birds of Paradise. This Kozilek channel package is not particularly great here. It's kind of like a 2-card combo that's in the deck. And if we ever have them in our opener, there's a decent chance we can just do that and win. If we have one and not the other, it's a little bit of a mulligan. A little bit. Little bits. Play an Elder, though. And Mishra's Workshop last pick, confirming absolutely no respect for artifacts ever. I actually like this as a 23 now that we've gotten here. Like, we've got a lot of dudes, a lot of things that want us to have dudes. No removal, which is fine. We're just looking to go bigger than our opponent and then beat them to death with a Sword of Body and Mind or one of these things. Any of these are like fine to cheat in with the natural order. We're disrupting their artifacts all the while it's happening. The Witness isn't great. Like, we don't have anything super busted to do this with, but I mean, we could Witness back Natural Order and then Natural Order the Witness into our second thing. And I could see Crater Hoof killing some people with this. So I think we're gonna run with this with that last pick Elder. I think I want Nykthos as like a second copy of Gaia's Cradle, but it's close. Like, I could run this and one Swamp and get the Mind Twist in there, basically at the cost of one Swamp in the deck, and that doesn't seem very difficult. I mainly want the Swamp because even though the Mire can get the Tomb, if I draw the Tomb first, the Mire doesn't get anything, and this at least gives me a slightly higher chances to get it. So we've still got, what, 12, 13, 14 turn 1 green sources, and that doesn't feel like a huge cost. We've also sort of got 2 copies of Raphelos in here with the GSZ. And I mean, if we can generate enough mana, we can Green Sun Zenith for, what, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and get a Crater Hoof Behemoth or whatever. Yeah, I'm down, man. I am down. Alrighty, we're going to load this bad boy up and see you here in round 1 in just a moment.